For my leadership assignment, I've decided to interview my mom, Joanne Walker. So Joanne, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Vancouver, BC.
And what university did you attend and what program did you take there?
I attended the University of Victoria, where I took a program in health information science. I got a Bachelor of Science in Health Information.
So after receiving your diploma, where did you first work?
I was fortunate enough to be part of a co-op program in university, so I did 4 co-op work terms. And my last work term was at the Toronto General Hospital, and upon graduation they offered me a full-time position, so I started working there immediately following graduation.
After working at Toronto General Hospital, then where did you end up working?
I worked at Toronto General, which became University Health Network. I worked there for about 8 years, and then I moved into management consulting at a healthcare consulting company called Courtyard Group.
After working at Courtyard, then where did you end up working?
I worked at Courtyard for 9 years, and Courtyard Group was acquired by TELUS Health in 2011, and I've been at TELUS Health since 2011, so almost 7 years now, where I'm a vice president of our electronic medical record division.
So Joanne, how long have you been in leadership roles?
I've been in a leadership role in my career for about the last 15 years.
So in these leadership roles, can you talk about a few leadership theories that align with your leadership style?
Sure. I would say my leadership style has definitely evolved over time. One of the theories that I definitely employ is the path goal leadership theory. I really like this approach to leadership because it allows a leader, and myself in this case, to set very clear goals for my team members so that they know exactly what they need to do, and I can guide them along that path. Within that theory and that style, I sometimes employ sort of participative or supportive leadership style, and in other cases I employ more of an achievement-based sort of leadership style. An example of where I would typically use achievement-based leadership would be with my sales managers and my sales team members, where I would set at the beginning of the year and on a quarterly basis very clear goals in terms of sales targets that they need to achieve. And once that goal is set and they go out and do the work required to achieve that goal, they're rewarded, in this case, with commissions or bonuses upon having either achieved the goal or exceeded the goal. So that's just one example of where I use achievement-based leadership.
So are there any other leadership theories that apply to your leadership style?
Yeah, I definitely use sort of the leader-participant model, meaning that depending on the situation and depending on the decisions that need to be made in the organization, I use either a authoritative sort of decision-making style, a consultative decision-making style, or a group decision-making style. And it really depends on the situation and who is in the group that's making the decision, whether there's time allowed to be able to make the decision, or whether a decision needs to be made quickly, in which case I might be the person to just quickly make the decision. But I often consult with my team and my managers to come up with the best decision, bringing together their information, their opinions, when making a decision. So I like that leadership theory in that, it allows you to use sort of a variety of decision-making approaches depending on the situation.
So Joanne, are there any other leadership theories that apply to you in your leadership role at TELUS?
Yes, I would say that I also use the situational leadership model in my role. And the reason for that is that I lead a number of different teams across the organization. So depending on the maturity of the team, I will use a different leadership style or model with each team. So, for example, I often will have MBA co-op students working for me, and when I do, I use much more of a telling type of style or approach with a co-op student where I very closely provide direction and supervision on the tasks that the co-op student is doing. On the other hand, I have another team who's very mature, where I very much delegate what needs to be done, and they make decisions and decide exactly how they want to deliver on the objective. And then finally, I have a team that's a fairly new team that's been brought on to implement our electronic medical record in Atlantic Canada. And because it's a new team, I tend to use, with new leadership on that team, I tend to use much more of a participative type of style with that team, where I ask for team members to participate in the decision making and the execution of the tasks.
So Joanne, can you describe your sources of power as a leader at TELUS Health?
Yes, I guess I'll start by saying, by virtue of the fact that I'm a vice president and therefore an executive within TELUS Health, I do have positional power. So the fact that I am an executive, when I make decisions or when I give direction to my team, just by virtue of the fact that I'm in that position, I have power. But I think I would tend to use sort of personal power probably more strongly that in my role than I use positional power. I don't find that I need to sort of call on my positional power to get things done and to direct and get people to do things that I want them to do. I more rely on relational power, and specifically, leading people through the desire to do what is best for the team, and also the desire to I think please me as a leader. And so by doing that, I'm much more calling on relational power in moving things forward and getting my team to do what I need them to do.
Thank you, Joanne Walker, for allowing me to interview you for the school project.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Based on the interview and taking various notes, I believe that Joanne Walker is a good leader. This is because she uses many leadership styles and theories in different situations. For example, she will sometimes use the path goal leadership theory. This is because sometimes she will need to clarify goals for her team, and sometimes remove barriers to allow work to be done more efficiently. She will also use the leadership participation model, in which she will sometimes make decisions on her own, but in other situations when she has more time, she will consult her team to do what is best for the organization. She will also use position power. She does not prefer to use this, but instead prefers to use personal power, where she will use referent power as others desire to be like her, and also use relational power as she wants her team to be motivated to what is best for the organization and not what is just best for themselves. She also has a lot of self-confidence in what she does at work. She also is good at motivating others to do what is best for the organization, and she is also very flexible in using different leadership styles in different situations to do what is overall best for the organization. In my opinion, leadership is the act of motivating and directing one's team to meet organizational goals while at the same time keeping team members highly motivated. What separates a good organization from a great organization is the strength of its leaders. In today's talent-based economy, leaders who can get the most productivity and creativity out of their teams are the ones who will be highly successful. I'm passionate about leadership, and I look forward to the opportunity to lead others in my lifetime.